Hello, everybody. Welcome back to today's episode of Roleplay for Verona. So, all right, let's start with the Amira. So you get a message, Amira. Your beeper's blowing up. You get a message from Booker
Wait,
being like, "Yo, girl, where you at?" And do you like just look at it casually and put it away? Do you stop to answer?
um, I would answer. Yeah, I would answer. I wouldn't want him to worry. I'd probably respond with, was, call I'm sorry.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Um, I would I would, probably let him know that I was called away on business.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Good. Okay. So
And that I took
yeah.
Arnahan with me for security.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And then yeah, and then you tuck your comm away and head for the door. So when you get to the top, I think you're in so this guy's important enough that he has an entire floor as his office. So you come up in the elevator door slides open, and you're in a floor that's probably about as big as the apartments where you're staying. Um, it's windows all the way around, and so you can see this beautiful view of the bright blue sky of Berkman, the sun kind of setting in the distance, casting a pink glow over everything. The floor is like a black lacquer, and there are plants kind of all over the place, and these are not local plants. Like we don't see, he doesn't have like a cacti collection. These are like tropical plants. There are flowers. Like these are obviously brought in from another planet and cared for here. Um,
Mm.
so you walk in, and he has a desk you can see at the back of the office. It's got a big black chair. There's the desk, and you can see the glow of several computer displays. And when you step in, you hear a voice amplified by there's there's some kind of amplifier like in the door next to the elevator, or like the floor, or like the nanites in the air. Like it's hard to say, but you hear his voice as if he were standing next to you, and he says, "Emira, I'm so glad you could make it. Please." And you see him so stand up at his desk across the room and kind of like
So
gesture for
impractical.
you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll walk towards him.
Okay. All right. So Arnahan still like looking around at all these weird plants, and you walk over. So as you get closer, you see Linus Reed, Trilliant section chief in charge of human resources. He's wearing a black suit with gold trim, a Trilliant pin, and then under it a smaller subtle like high church like pin. He is a man of indeterminate age, but who wears his age intentionally. Like he's a big, like a white beard, white hair that's slicked back. He's There's an actor I'm thinking of that would play him. The like main bad guy from Hunger Games. What's the name of that actor? I should know this. He's Canadian. President Snow, I think his name was. Let me see, so you can get a better idea.
I
This
saw
guy,
like the first Hunger Games, and I think that's it.
Donald
So
Sutherland. Donald
Ah,
Sutherland. That's the actor I was thinking of.
okay.
Um, yes. Yeah. Okay. Good. Um, yeah, he's born in New Brunswick. So yeah, so Donald Sutherland would play this guy, and he's wearing this black suit. God knows, like it's impossible to tell his age. Like the other Trilliant person you saw, his eyes are cybernetic. They don't fit the rest of him. Like his age is engineered, and his eyes are like perfect. They're not either clear and unclouded, and they have this kind of orange, like this amber color. And as you walk up, you can see, yeah, he's got all these like computer displays, throwing their light into the air between the two of you. And he reaches through one of them, and it flickers. And he reaches out, and he goes to shake your hand.
I'll shake it
Okay. Yeah. So
awkwardly.
he shakes.
Or
He,
I
he
shouldn't. I won't say
shakes.
awkwardly. Hesitantly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he shakes your hand. He's got a gold ring on with like a kind of cross on it, and he smiles and again, like his teeth don't match the rest of his like old man kind of appearance. Like they're too
Mhm.
perfect, and like
Yeah.
he says, it's an absolute honor to have an Amira in my office. Thank you for coming. I'm
You
Linus
flatter
Reed.
me.
And he smiles and says, you strike me as a woman worth flattering. Tell me, how are you enjoying Berkman 3? You haven't been here long.
No, I haven't. Can't say I've done a lot of sightseeing yet, so I'm not quite sure how I find it yet.
Well, if there's one thing that you need to see while you're here, it's the cathedral. Are you a woman of faith, Amira?
Yes, somewhat.
God is very close to my heart. Always has been. Ever since I was a boy. It's been my pride staffing this cathedral, helping Trilliant build something here on this planet. He puts his hand up and he says, I don't mean to brag. I'm proud of my work. I think we all should be. So hard to accomplish anything. Please, sit.
I'll
Can I
nod
get
and
you a
I'll sit.
drink?
Tea, if you have any, which I'm sure
Of
you do.
course. Yeah, and like as you say that, like he's not really listening because you expressing what you want, it turns on the VI in the system that picks up on like what you said, and they'll have someone bring it to you. And he
Mhm.
turns around and he goes over to his desk, and he opens it and he takes out a bottle of something, and he pours himself a glass, and right on time as he finishes pouring, the door to the elevator opens. You hear a clicking sound of someone's shoes on the floor, and a Trilliant employee, one of his many assistants, is just like at your shoulder and like gives you this tea.
Mhm.
Um, and the smell of it is like immediate sense memory of like being a child and like being in your like I guess you'd have like a nanny. You wouldn't have been raised necessarily by your parents because you're a noble.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like the smell of family and of home and like Hakani and yeah, and it's just like handed to you in this beautiful lapis teacup. And he turns and he's looking at you to see your reaction.
I take a big sniff and kind of just like look up without sipping and meet his gaze and just say, impressive.
He smiles when you say that, and he says, I had it flown in special when I heard you were coming. This was weeks ago. I'm glad you enjoyed the effort.
Definitely didn't expect to find Assam or Darjeeling blends here on Berkman. And I
People of
take a
Berkman
sip.
have the people of Berkman have a limited appreciation of the finer things, but who can blame them? Their lives have been so hard.
But you're
So,
going to change that, right?
yes, we have already. This place is on the fast track to prosperity. Our partnership with the church has seen to it. Berkman is a place that is known only conflict, struggle, strife. We hope to bring them back into the fold. And
How
he
is it you
sits
intend to
down,
do that?
and he's listening to you. He takes a sip of his beverage, this kind of gold looking fluid. And he says, the same way anything is accomplished in this world, on any world, with money, credits, there's power in them. power that we intend to use to make the lives of these people better.
Why? Why this planet? Why now?
It's a good question. I have to tell you, Amira, I don't know. I got my orders, and I've been following them to the best of my ability. You have to understand that human resources is very important to the Trilliant Ring. There is no greater resource. And as we've seen, there's no replacement for a human being. Our goal is nothing short of perfection, wherever we are. Can I ask you something, Amira?
By all means.
What brought you to Berkman?
Well, it looks like your efforts to bring peace to this planet have not been quite as successful as you had hoped. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Don't misunderstand our intentions. Peace and prosperity are two different things. We want people to live the best possible life they can. For some people, that life includes peace. For others, conflict.
Some of the organizations I represent believe that peace, prosperity, and profit can all go in hand.
The slightest raise of an eyebrow at the combination of those words. Do you find yourself...
Mark, stop giving me the eyeballs! Every time I look up, Mark's like...
Oh, he's planning something. So, yeah, he looks at you and he said, and he raises his eyebrow slightly and he says, do you ever find yourself conflicted, Amira? I imagine pulled in so many directions, loyal to your family. And he looks at the T when he says that.
Mm-hmm.
To your duty, House Crux. And then there's your other interests.
I do, but above all, I try to follow my own moral code. I try to do what I think is right because my duty is to my spirit.
Then you understand Berkman better than I thought. All of its problems stem from the same. An intent to follow one's own personal spirit, with no thought of those around you. Berkman is a planet that suffers from an identity problem. And their identity problems are getting in our way. Tell me, did House Crux bring you here to negotiate a deal with this PIB? Or are you here to wipe them out?
I don't see how any of that is your concern. Either way, they would be out of your way.
I invited you here so we could have a conversation, Amira.
Oh, I'm more than happy to have a conversation, but I don't see how disclosing confidential details of my mission here should have to be a part of that conversation. I mean, you clearly know more than you let on, so I don't know why you're doing the formality of even asking me.
I wanted to extend to you the opportunity of telling me your thoughts in your own words. The Trilliant Ring has assets everywhere. And I, as Section Chief of Human Resources, have access to those assets, particularly here on Berkman, and some of them operate undercover if there's going to be violence, the Trilliant Ring would appreciate some foreknowledge of your actions, an opportunity to divest ourselves of certain situations.
So, you brought me here to ask me to divulge, once again, confidential information regarding my team's mission here, as well as what actions they intend to carry out, in order to protect your own Black Ops operations on this planet. And you thought that I would give up this information for free? Or out of the goodness of my heart? Or because
And
your
yeah, when you
tea
said
is
that,
delicious?
he smiles and he says, "Of course not, Amira. Nothing is free. This is something that we have had to understand from the beginning. The Trilliant Ring was not born into power. We built it. We built it with money, with influence. We're good friends to have, especially on Berkman. I'm simply offering an opportunity for friendship."
It may seem to you that a lot of us nobles were born into power and money, and you might be right, but it takes a certain skill to hold on to it as well. It would behoove you
Of
to
course.
remember that.
Of course, my lady. Your empire is built on it. But there are procedures, things that we are able to provide here at the Trilliant Ring for nobles of a certain stature, close personal friends, technologies not available to just anyone. And if you could help me, do me this one favor, Amira, it would be my pleasure to consider you a close friend when the time came to decide who received these technologies. So what the section chief here is implying, and this would be something that you just
he gonna
know
augment
as
me?
a noble, like, so the Trilliant Ring has the ability to, at this point, they developed a technology to extend human life, and so far, no one who has ever taken that has died of old age. We don't know how long nobles can live that are subjected to this treatment because no one's died yet. And they keep it very close, and it is a fairly like guarded secret, and only like kind of friends of the Trilliant Ring get it. They have access to technology that very few other people in the universe have, and he is implying that he would be willing to offer that technology to you. He's just not so gauche as to be like, "You want to live forever?"
Yeah, yeah. Is everyone laughing at my usage of behoove? It's a good word.
It's a good word.
No,
It's a totally good word.
I wasn't laughing
Yeah.
at it. I was saying that I like that word.
Oh, yeah. You never get
And
to
I
use that
told-
word in daily life. Yeah.
Yeah, I do it sometimes, but everybody's reaction is always like, "Hey, Mr. Smarty Pants." I'm like, I just like the word.
Yeah, it's
Me
a good
too.
word.
Anyways,
It's a very tempting offer. Between friends, can I ask, what is your relationship with the church? Spirituality aside.
It's like asking what one's relationship to one's wife is, marriage aside. The church has always been an important part of my life, my family. I consider myself a man of God, a pious man, doing God's work through the Trilliant Ring. My relationship with them here on the planet flows much the same. Mutual respect, an intention, a purpose.
Is that why you build that giant floating gold monstrosity?
A monstrosity, Amira, you wound me. There's nothing more trill than our savior.
I think I'm beginning to put the pieces together.
Yeah, and he looks at you like, is this going to be, is this a yes or a no? Like,
yeah. I'm
huh?
debating it. I will tell you this. I don't think any of your operatives are in any immediate danger for now. Our team is merely here to help facilitate peace, not carry out any kind of war.
He smiles as if you've made like a little joke. And he says, hard to find the arrival of Kruk's troops, an indicator of coming peace. But I understand. Perhaps that's why they sent you. A diplomat to smooth things over.
You would be surprised. A lot of the members of our team tend to be very surgical in their approach.
We don't shy away from surgery in the ring. And like he refocuses his eyes so you can hear them whir slightly.
I think, yes, you can consider me a friend. And I'll reach forward and shake his hand.
Yeah. So he shakes your hand and he says, all you need to do is let me know in advance if there's going to be an escalation. The more detail you can give me, the better. I just want to protect the people that work for me.
I'll do my best. I serve merely in an advisory capacity. A lot of the more militant stuff is left to other members of my crew.
Of course.
And I'll just stand up and turn to leave.
Before you go, he says a word of advice, Amira, from someone with some experience in these regards. You'll have to choose who you really work for eventually. It can be tempting to play the field, but in the end, there'll be a time you're going to have to decide your loyalty.
I think you'll find that my loyalty will always lie with who I think can best serve me. I'll just nod and leave.
Yeah. And as you leave, you hear him say, like almost to himself, like, a very trill idea indeed. And you walk off. All right. So, Booker, you get a message from the Amira, letting you know, like, yo, I'm busy. I'm on business. Do you reply, or are the three of you just going to proceed with Operation Talat Lao without her?
What was her message? It was just generally like, leave me alone. I'm busy.
Yeah, she said that she had to leave on like business, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, you texted you texted her, where you at, holla when you get this, and then she just never texted you back. So,
what? No, I did. I said I did.
Yeah. So she said, yeah, I'm on business. Whatever. And then you can.
The phrasing is very
reply.
important because that's how I'm going to report it to Nomi. So.
She replied with a capital K and then a period, I think is the
sick.
K.
Nomi, she said K.
All right, where's the nearest airlock?
Probably in space.
No, we gotta save that. We gotta save that for later.
If her message said that she's away taking care of some business, then that's what I'm gonna report to Nomi. Yeah.
Right.
We can go right there too. I'll just be like, Nomi, the Amira responded back and said that she's taking care of some business. Didn't really elaborate.
I kind of like squint and I'm like,
Bit odd to me.
yes. I wonder if this business is related to our mission or if it was more of a personal matter, although I don't know what kind of personal work she would have here on Berkman. Did she say when she would be returning?
Did she? I don't think she did.
She didn't say when she was going to be back.
We could inquire with the house staff to see if she left with anyone, or if she told them where she was going.
She did not.
Is
I
missing.
just checked. Would you like me to ask if Arnahan is with her?
No, I don't think that's necessary. We can surmise that they left together. I don't imagine that Arnahan would leave of her own accord, and after all, she was personally requested by the Amira, if you recall. Interesting. We'll have to look into that more later. For now, Chaplain, you know the Reverend better than we do since you met with her already. Do you think that we should speak with her about this Talat Lao, or perhaps we should investigate Lao ourselves?
On a purely personal matter, it would be unfortunate to earn the Reverend Elder's displeasure, purely because I think that if she is truly working to the best of the Empire, she will be a very useful ally. And so if we do take an action without perhaps speaking to her first, we could perhaps lose that. On the other hand, trying to strong arm her could could offend her and could cause problems. I think in some ways, perhaps taking a softer approach with this Talat Lao for now, perhaps trying to get more information, trying to see what their response could be interesting. I don't know. It's a tricky one. It is difficult.
I find it highly unlikely, given the Reverend Elder's knowledge of your personality and things that are largely unknown to even our own crew, that she would not know about Pastor Talat Lao.
I wonder if perhaps there is... Indeed. I wonder if there's perhaps an ulterior motive to the invitation. Perhaps she hopes to catch Lao in some sort of trap, perhaps. But we would not know unless we ask her. Perhaps. Well,
there have been many bombings and attacks that either she condones them because she has done nothing about it, knowing what she knows about Lao, or Lao is acting on his own, and she is allowing it to continue either way.
It's possible. I mean, you did gain this information from a member of the PIB who, at no small risk, told you information that could perhaps be hard to come by. There is still the chance that the Reverend Elder is unaware of Lao's affiliation. It is slim, I admit, but it is still a chance. We could always divide our forces. Yourself and Agent Greaves could try and investigate the compound. Certainly I will stand out. I am not very good at subterfuge and keeping myself in disguise whilst I speak with the Reverend Elder. Or we can go straight to Lao and try and find out the answers that we seek.
Adam, how far are we from the dinner?
Like time wise? I mean, obviously not locatively because it's like here, but like a day. This is the end of April 3rd. The dinner is the evening of April 5th.
Okay. Okay. There is a slim chance that the Reverend is unaware of Lao's activities. Let us say, for the sake of argument, that she doesn't know what's going on. Do you think that she would be willing to work with us in order to apprehend and shut down these activities?
It's difficult. I'm not sure I had enough of a read of her to answer that question. She was very hesitant for any military action. That she seemed to be cautious of more loss of life. So if we approach it from that angle, perhaps I think so. Yes. Yes, I think so. If she is unaware of this affiliation with Lao, then I do think that if she is a true servant of God and the Empire, then yes, she will want to assist us. But I only had a brief conversation with her, I'm afraid, Cirrus, and she was not favorable to my background, shall we say.
Perhaps we could do with
Perhaps-
another meeting with the Reverend.
Yeah, I think perhaps you may have a better chance at speaking with her and learning more about her than I did, not only because of your talents, but she may find me a particular distaste due to my actions.
I would
Perhaps a meeting
imagine
with the
she
three of us different.
sees you as a gunman masquerading as a holy man.
I believe that is very much the case, Agent Graves.
Your
Perhaps the
call,
three of
Nomi.
us should go and speak with her. Yes, it is indeed. You are squad leader. You are the responsible one, Cirrus Carr, and you have more experience in me than these more delicate matters.
Whatever you decide, I'm good with.
I would like to have a conversation with the Reverend Elder on my own to see if I can deduce which side of this whole mess she's on.
Very good.
In the meantime, anything you want us to follow up on, or keep the embassy safe here? Perhaps we can find out more about the Amira. Up to you. If you want us to lay low until you come back, also fine.
Or Agent Graves and I could stake out the compound, this Champions of Peace. Not engage it directly, but perhaps keep an eye on it. What do they call it, Agent Graves, in Crux? A stake out, I believe?
No. We call it outstake.
Ah.
Booker smiles a second.
There is a pause and then a smile from the chaplain.
So, just to be clear, so the Champions of Peace is an old organization that kind of broke up. Lau's father was part of that.
But he still has a commune.
Yes, yeah. His parish is the Red Sands commune. It's one of the parish communes. Yeah, Red Sands is his. He doesn't run it, but he's the parish priest.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think if you feel that you can gain some insight about this pastor from a distance without actually engaging him yet until we know more, then perhaps you should pursue that while I go speak with the Reverend Elder.
Very well.
Please let me know if you hear anything from the Amira.
Of course.
Will do.
Okay. All right. So, Nomi, are you going to go and do that now? It's basically late dinner hour, say. Earthwise, it'd be around 8 o'clock.
Sure.
Okay. Where do you go?
Yeah. Let's go. I don't know where her house is or office or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a connect roll to just be I'm gonna try to connect with the elder. I'm just gonna go where she is.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have you make that roll.
Sneak in and wake her up in her bed.
Wake up!
Tell me
She's
what
an
you
old
know.
lady. Yeah.
Where is she?
Right, just hanging upside down from her ceiling.
No.
What do you know about Lao?
So yeah, it is gonna have to be. It is you can't get any. She's busy. You're very politely declined. There's just she has no more time to meet with people today.
Okay.
So
Can I make an appointment for tomorrow?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can intercept her. You could just go there. It depends on how aggressive you want to be, right? You certainly have the ability. Technically, she's not a noble. She's an important church person, which makes the thing a bit more complex. But you can just show up at her church and try to intercept her as she's leaving. But with the failure on this connect roll, there's no official channel to her. at a time
Mhm.
that is convenient for you.
Okay.
So do you want to wait and just meet with her, like try to schedule something for tomorrow, or do you want to take matters into your own hands and go and intercept her?
Yeah, I'll see if I can catch her like while she's leaving.
Okay.
In hopefully not a super aggressive way.
Yeah, I mean that'll be up to you how you want to handle that, but sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So she's she's at you were told by one of her assistants that she was busy with meetings at the church. Like she's got the main high church, I guess it used to be the main church, but now it's like the secondary church because all of the real important people have like ascended to the floating church, but she's still down here. So it's a big like facility, but it's a little abandoned and probably being repurposed for other things. So when you arrive, it is a sci-fi cathedral set on probably one of the first few levels of the building. So it has its own spires that extend up and allow natural sunlight in. Though now the moon is out and we can see the planet quite clearly. It's several floors of one of the upper layers of the canyon, and as you approach, you can see there are the big doors which are currently shut. The symbol of the high church above it. Probably evening mass has just gotten out, and there are a bunch of people standing around outside in the sort of thoroughfare. These upper layers of the canyon are interconnected by like roadways and sort of a network of platforms and stuff. And there are people on this kind of veranda extending out over the chasm, just talking and kind of doing like post church stuff, right? So these are like there are trilliant business people. There are like landowners who bought in on Trilliant's plan, kind of the rich plebs. They're like the upper tier of the bottom because again, everybody who's like top level has moved upstairs. So it's dark. It's lit only by the light of the streets, kind of glow lamps above, and then some moonlight coming down. You can actually get some natural light on this level, and you are you're approaching from whatever vector that you want.
Okay. Do I just like see her in the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just like hang out and like watch for her?
Sure.
Okay, sure. So just like I'm doing like a stupid doodle here to give you kind of an idea because it's a bit of a confusing city. So the sort of grayish box there would be the church itself, and then the kind of chasm as it goes down. Obviously, there's a lot more layers, and so people are kind of hanging out here. Right, this is like a cross cut, and so all of this stuff is buildings cut into the stone on either side, and then there are walkways that kind of crisscross the upper layers, and the people that you come to see are up here, kind of on that area. So you you want to try to be stealthy and wait and watch for her to come out.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Make that roll.
Okay. Sneak?
Yes, please. Yeah, with dexterity.
Dexterity. 11.
Nice. Yeah. So you're hidden. You're hidden in the crowd. Nobody notices you. There are lots of people talking. And and you can kind of like eavesdrop. And mostly it's people who are like, oh, that was such a lovely sermon, and like what an honor to come in here and speak. I'm so glad that the elder stayed here with us and didn't go to the cathedral. We're so lucky to have her. She's still connected with the people, and everybody is having this chat, and you are hidden. You see the elder come out, so she steps out of the church and isn't mobbed, but like politely mobbed, right? Where like a bunch of people come over to tell her the same thing they've been talking about, like, oh, thank you, like you really spoke to me, like this is a very important sermon, thank you so much. And like she's shaking hands and nodding, and she's wearing her like high church frock. She's got her like ritual sash removed, but she's still wearing the vestments. And there is a car. You see a car waiting, and she has a driver. And when you when you see her come out, she's kind of caught up in the crowd and like shaking hands, and slowly moving her way towards the vehicle.
Okay. Then I would want to position myself kind of between her and the vehicle.
Yeah, you don't want to like get in her car on the other side and wait for her. Like it's
Just
basically a
trying to
limo,
not
right?
scare
Good
her.
evening.
Yeah, because that's certainly an option. You could sneak in the other side. You have an 11 stealth, so you got free reign of this area. But yeah, if you want to intercept her on her way to the car.
Yeah, I don't want to scare her, so I'm not gonna get in her car. Because
Okay.
I legitimately just want to talk to her. I don't want to like freak her out. So
Okay.
I'm not sure she did anything wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So she extricates herself from a conversation she's having with some dusty pleb, and they shake hands, and she's like, thank you so much for coming," and turns, walks a few steps away from the crowd. The crowd kind of lets her go, and she walks over, and how do you like step out and you're like, "Elder," or does she see you? Before, like, how much of a lead do you want to give her? You have total control over how this scene starts. So you tell me what
Yeah.
happens.
I think she would notice that there was a person standing between her and the car that she is clearly moving toward, and that
Right, you're just like leaning on her
because-
car, smoking a cigarette.
well, this isn't like a super big place, so she would probably recognize that I was not one of her regular like church people. So, so
Okay.
I'm fine with her like kind of seeing me from a,
Okay.
she can,
Yeah.
she would be able to hear me if I talk to her, but she's not like right in front of me, and I make eye contact.
And
with
are
her.
you standing between her and the car?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So she sees you, and there's a moment of like she's not scared, but she's like, oh, like didn't expect to see somebody, and you kind of came out of nowhere. Again, the elder Michaela, she's short, fairly dark skin, tan. Looks like she spent the majority of her young life like working in the sun. Doesn't seem to have any obvious, from this distance, any obvious cybernetics. But it's dark and nighttime. She's just wearing her frock. She's white hair, it's like pinned up, and so she sees you, and she like, oh, excuse me, didn't see you there.
Yeah, I step forward and I say, I give her a bow and I say, Reverend Elder Michaela, my name is Cirrus no Mika. I'm here with the Crux mission. I was hoping that I might have a moment of your time.
She says, well, Cirrus, didn't my assistant already tell you I wasn't going to be available this evening?
And I kind of smile and I say, she did. Unfortunately, I don't believe that the matter can wait, seeing as how innocent lives are being wasted.
Well, that's a serious accusation.
Not accusing
Sir.
anyone. You would agree that these terrorist bombings, which have resulted in innocent lives being lost needlessly, shouldn't be allowed to go on.
There have been some recent tragedies, yes. I agree. Things have been somewhat less stable than usual on Berkman, and that's saying a lot, given Berkman's history. So y'all are here to fix all that, hmm?
We'd like to see how we can help, yes.
The way I see it, House Crux only knows one way to help. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong, a boot on the neck's the appropriate course, but things here on Berkman, they're complicated. You should have done your research before you came here, Cirrus. You'd know that.
Reverend, Crux does have their way of doing things. However, I am a Serpens. I would like to speak with you more in depth about these intricacies of which you're speaking. I would like for you to help enlighten me so that this situation can be resolved amicably, hopefully.
You know, I met with your chaplain earlier. Interesting man.
Interesting how?
Well, Sirius, you must know about the way he operates, what he's for. Sometimes the church has enemies they need to take care of. If you think this is a peaceful mission, having a man like Chaplain Valencio on board, that won't be for long.
The chaplain does have his skills, but he is also a man who listens to orders, and I am the woman giving the orders. That is why I need you to help me understand what is going on here, so that we can proceed peacefully.
Make a talk roll. Make a talk roll with charisma.
Okay. 9.
I don't have a lot of time, Sirius. I'm very busy. There are a lot of people here who need me and my attention. Now, I don't mean to downplay your intentions here, but what can I help you with? What can I tell you? You're obviously here looking for some kind of information. And I'm not about to give you a history lesson on Berkman. You can find that all out in Prism's archives. You got the look of a
Okay.
woman who has something specific she wants to know. So out with it.
I kind of look around at like the people that are still standing around, and I look at her and I say, perhaps we could speak somewhere more private, or if you are indeed too busy to speak tonight, we can make an appointment to speak tomorrow. I don't want to take
She
up any more of your
gestures-
time.
She gestures at her car and she says, why don't we take a ride?
Okay. So then I bow and I open the door and let her get in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she gets in. It's no trilliant limousine, but it's a serviceable like town car. It's a hover town car. And she gets in and she says to the driver who's just like sitting waiting, she says, home please. And he nods. He's like, yes, ma'am. And you hear the hum as the thing lifts up and like heads off into the chasm, heading for her apartments. She turns to you and she says, well, you got about 5 minutes, Sirius.
We have reason to believe that there is a recruiter for the PIB working as a pastor who has your personal invitation to be here on Berkman.
Oh, you're talking about Talat Lau. No, Pastor Lau is no terrorist.
Perhaps not a terrorist, but he is providing a meeting space for those who are.
Oh, I can't believe that to be true. Sure, there are plenty of folk on Berkman who don't agree with the way that the Empire's run things, don't agree with the presence of Trilliant here on Berkman. Plenty of people who have plenty of disagreements with the way things are being done, but last I checked, at least out this far from Hyra, disagreement wasn't illegal.
That's
Now
true.
you got to understand, this isn't Hroa. We're not on Orpheus here. The law is a bit more complicated on Berkman.
Is it?
She nods. Well, sure. I mean, we don't have any noble lords. These people have no leadership except the church. And, well, we lead in matters of the spirit. Things have always been confused on Berkman. They're a part of the Empire. Some of them don't like it too much. Pastor Lau's got some problems. His flock, they agree with those problems. And yes, he's a bit of a firebrand, likes to talk. But these bombings, these terrorist acts, nah, I don't think so. That's not Lau's style. The pastor's gonna be... And you can see she's about to say something, and then she thinks better of it, and she just like shakes her head like, nah.
Um, I'm wondering if there's a... No, not really. Okay. There's nothing that I can really use to like get her to tell me what she was going to say, I guess.
No,
Unless
aside from
I-
like asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can read her.
Yeah.
You can read her emotional state, right? You can use your telepathy on her.
Okay.
That's definitely a thing you can do if you'd like.
Okay.
Did you want to do that?
Yeah, I want to see. Like, I want to know how she feels about Lau. Like, as she's talking about him, does she genuinely believe that he is like a good person who is not capable of terrorism, or is she kind of like worried that that might be what's going on, or that kind of thing?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So she failed her mental effect save. So you do get to use your powers on her. And yeah, I think that you can kind of dig into her base like emotional state. She's like annoyed. She's got this vibe of like annoyance and frustration with you. Not oppositional. Like she's not trying to like she doesn't like dislike you personally. You don't get there's no venom here, but you're in the conversation, so there is. But she's not like how dare you get out of here. Like she's not scared or any of that. She's just kind of like irritated that you think that you can like you and your crux folks can come to her planet and like tell her and her flock what to do. Like get off my porch. That's
Ain't from around here.
yeah, right. That's the attitude. And this is very much
village.
yeah, she's very much Berkman, right? This is the Berkman vibe. This like, oh, you come over here from the Imperial Corps, you think you can tell us what to do? Get the fuck out of here. However, this like massive expensive mega corporation and the High Church both came out to like, rural Texas and built a giant expensive golden super church. And all of their like best people are flocking to the super church, and they're getting like squeezed out of their resources. They're getting squeezed out of their living space because this is happening. And so she's giving you the Berkman-tude right now, where she's just like typical like core worlder meddling. She's not like angry. She's just like, you are frustrating me because you don't understand. You came back here to try to like fuck with our stuff. You don't know what it's like here. So she's and all that insight, because you're a psychic, just flows into your brain. And the way we see it from an external perspective is she just sighs. She just sighs slightly. She's just like, what do you say? What do you do?
I look out the window of the car at the giant golden orb, and without turning to look at her, I say, how does it feel to live in that shadow? I
You kind of take her, you catch her off balance, because that's not the question she expected from you. What? What do you mean?
How does it feel to live in the shadow of this giant creation that you didn't ask for?
I serve the church. And if the High Church wants to build their golden cathedral, and that's up to them. I try to serve the people of Berkman best I can. And that means staying down here with them.
And you don't feel that that is serving the people of Berkman?
Well, there's been promises, but I'm too old to be that ignorant. Trilliant comes here and says, eventually we'll all have gold-plated cars, and there'll be water for everyone. We'll terraform the planet. It'll be a green paradise for all, but I've lived on Berkman long enough to know this dust ball, there's no turning it. And those fancy suits and their expensive cybernetics, they may think that they're trying to help, They may believe that thing they spout about eventually all of us being uplifted, but when they're spending all that money build something like that, I can't help but think that she shrugs. Road to hell, good intentions, all that.
Reverend, I know that you don't trust that we're here with your best intentions in mind. And I don't know that there's anything I can necessarily say to convince you of that. Nor do I think that I can promise that our actions will lead to what you desire for Berkman and its people. But we are here to stop the terrorists. And to do that, I need your help. We need to stop them so that they stop with these random acts of violence which are leading to the deaths of your people. I don't have that many leads. All I know is that Lao is the one who was providing them with a place to meet. You
And
are
as you're speaking, we see the car pulling up to the gate of an apartment in another part of the chasm. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. You are connected to these people. You know them. I know that I am a stranger coming here, and I have no knowledge of the way that things work, but that is why I need your help. So that we can stop this before it gets even worse.
So you arrive, and you hear the door open on the other side. The chauffeur comes around, opens the door for her. She starts to get out, and she's standing in the door looking at you, and she says, Carl will take you back to the embassy if that's where you want to go. Make one more talk roll with charisma. And she
I can reroll. No, I can reroll
you want to do
once.
you want to do your reroll? Okay.
Could have rerolled the one on the
Is
9
this-
too, but I didn't.
Yeah, you can reroll your one. Yeah, there you go.
7,
That's
8,
much
9,
better.
and 11.
So yeah, 6 becomes an 11. So there's a moment where she's like eyeballing you, and she says, "You're going about this all wrong, Cirrus. Trying to come at it from the top down. Berkman's not built that way. We built it from the bottom up. You think Talat, Pastor Lau, his flock's the problem? Well, go talk to them. That's the problem with you nobles. It's not always about who's the top of the organization. You're all being held up by millions and millions of serfs. Think they're just pieces in a puzzle, but they're why you are where you are. I see that. Berkman understands that. Go talk to Talat Lau. See his flock. You'll get a better understanding that way."
I bow my head to her and I say, "Thank you, Reverend. I look forward to working with you."
"I'll see you at dinner, Cirrus." And she closes the door, or I guess the chauffeur does, and she walks back to her apartment.
Okay.
Emira Kiran, where do you go? Yes, you also know where she lives. That's right. I like that. That's the tactical information you're like. All of that aside, I know where you live now, motherfucker.
She says,
So,
I'll see you at dinner. I'll see you at dinner too.
Yeah, I know where you live. So,
I've got a guy that can teleport, motherfucker.
Kiran, where do you go home after? Like, do you instruct the Trillmobile to take you home from Trillville, or do you have any side business that you want to attend to?
No, I think I'm gonna go straight back. People are probably
Okay.
worried about where I'm at, so
Okay, so Valencio and Booker, are you back at the embassy when Kiran comes back?
Depends on how much time has passed between Nomi.
I think this is probably while Nomi is on her way to, like, Nomi and Kiran exchange places. As Nomi goes to the church, Kiran is coming home.
And perhaps we're still at the embassy preparing to, like, discussing where we're going to go and Steak out. Outsteak. Sorry.
Outstake.
It's the future. We just mix words up now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Space steak.
So so Kiran, you and Arnahan and Emily return to the embassy.
Just like, what is everyone up to?
I guess like in the main lounge area, like going over data or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm. It could be
Okay.
the chaplain and then Booker like sat the chaplain sharing like notes about stuff and
Yeah, I can be
Lau,
showing you
what we
like
know.
what Lau looks like, and yeah, like showing you all the information I found on him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit down next to them.
Mira, welcome back.
Yes. Thank you.
Was
Go
your
ahead.
Was your business successful?
Yeah, I suppose you could say so, yes.
Well, we are
You know
pleased to
how it
have you
is.
back.
You come to a planet and there's people who know of you and go at great lengths to meet you.
I'm sure someone in a position such as yourself, Amira, that is very much the case. I'm sure you are accosted everywhere.
Booker's kind of like looking at you, not convinced,
Mm.
but only for a moment. Like, nice to have you back. Arnahan with you?
Yes, she is. She was kind enough to accompany me. I wasn't very familiar with the gentleman who came to collect me for the appointment, and I didn't feel quite right leaving on my own. Last thing I would want is for myself to go off getting kidnapped on a planet like this one and putting all of you in a compromising position.
Yes, you should be very careful, Amira, especially on these more outer planets that are outside of the usual Imperial controls. They can be quite dangerous, especially for young nobles on their own. I'm glad that you took Arnahan with you, but you know that you can always request any of us as well.
Everyone else was gone. Sorry to say it, Chaplain. So
True.
it's okay. Arnahan kept me quite safe. She was very attentive.
Anything else on this outing? Learn anything more about the people here? Anything that might help the mission at all? Unless it was completely unrelated.
I look over at you and I say, I don't think I found anything out, but if I think of something, I'll let you know.
Booker looks at you pointedly. He's like, I'm sure you will.
Mm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Chaplain, back to where we were going.
Yes, so this is the individual in question. This is Talat Lau. This is his group. Like I said, he's something of a firebrand, boisterous, very loud in his statements, never saying anything that is untoward or anything that could get him in trouble, but definitely a firm believer in Berkman. How shall I put this? Being self-reliant seems to be a common thread. Definitely want to watch. I'm thinking perhaps in the morning. I was thinking perhaps if you tell me what you think of this, Agent Graves, but perhaps I should go and speak with him as a man of faith to a man of faith. Ask him to tell me a little bit about Berkman. Like mentioned, I am not of any particular rank within the High Church. Perhaps I can approach it from an angle of curiosity. Perhaps I can even use some of my own personal distaste of the Trilliant's design to endear him a little.
Yeah, I think that unless, well, Chaplain, you think you'll be able to get on this man's level?
I think that I am patient enough that I can overlook some of, if he has any particularly, shall we say, rebellious thoughts. There will be some common ground, I'm sure, but it might be good to simply get a better idea of his character. And
Makes sense
I
to
have
me.
the benefit of, if anything were to happen, I know I can make an easy escape of it.
Well, I still don't like the idea of you potentially going by yourself, so I'll be in close proximity. Perhaps, maybe we have constant transmission going on your comms.
Yes,
Only one
we can
way.
probably arrange. Yes,
Just so that way I can listen in on the conversation as well. I won't be
If you
communicating
can-
unless it's absolutely necessary. I'll be close by.
Very good. For your future reference, both Emira and for you, Agent Graves, my MES abilities give me a range of approximately 100 meters at this current time, at the strength level. So that is the maximum that I can transport myself. I am also unable of carrying anything. I cannot carry any other persons with me. It's simply myself and my carried equipment. But for tactical uses, you may both find that quite useful to know.
100 meters. Not too bad.
I hope to improve that someday, but yes, it is a stretch from the distance that I've practiced over time. It is useful.
All right,
Yes,
well,
perhaps open constant communication is a good idea.
let's make good use of the time we got.
Hmm.
Amira, you're welcome to tend to whatever you wish, of course.
I would rather accompany you, if that's quite all right.
Booker
I
thinks
think
for a
this will
moment.
be in the morning.
All right. As long as you promise to keep low profile with me. I don't believe we'll need Arnahan. Too many bodies arouse suspicion. Plus, I don't like the idea of keeping this place unguarded.
Very wise, I think. Also, yes, as you mentioned, Officer Arnahan does not strike me as the type of woman to blend in well amongst this kind of location.
No. She's good at one thing.
Well, it has been a long day. I'm sure we are all tired, and we have much to accomplish. I think once Silas Carr returns, perhaps we should all finally get some rest.
Sounds good.
Yes. I'll just nod again. If either of you two have anything that you ever need to feel you need to get off your minds, please consider me at your service, even if we are not on the ship.
Same here. Door's always open. To both of you. Looks at Chaplain, then lastly looks at Amira.
I think as the chaplain kind of gets up to maybe like go get a drink, he just puts a gentle hand on the Amira's shoulder, kind of gives her like a friend.
Yes.
With friendly.
Friendly.
The Amira is going to retreat to her quarters, but when she does, Booker will notice that there's a ping from her only on his comm.
Booker notices. What's the ping say?
Just says to meet me alone and discreetly on the terrace.
All right. Booker gets up. Goes to his quarters first. Just pretends a little blah. Like, just for a moment. If anybody's watching, no one's here except for Chaplain. So, and then he, heads to the terrace.
I'm gonna
Do you know how much later did you want to meet there?
like 30 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. We'll tag up in his quarters and then meet you there in 30 minutes. And I guess that's where we can go.
Okay. So I'll be there alone, and I'll motion Booker over and say, Officer Greaves, I had some information for you, but I'm not sure we can trust some of our team members given that they work with the church.
I thought you might.
I didn't feel comfortable disclosing it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to make of the chaplain yet. He seems relatively harmless. Well, harmless isn't the right term, but I can understand your hesitance. Get me up to speed.
Trilliant reached out to me today. They had the garish audacity to try to offer me immortality under the table, as though the price of my rebirth was worth living forever. I don't know. They did give me the impression that they have undercover operatives embedded within the PIB. Now, given how closely Trilliant and the church are working together, I can't help but feel that they've created this sort of terrorist resistance on their own. I think it might be maybe some kind of bid. By creating this conflict, they've managed to snap up this land for a price. I don't know what their intentions are. However, the Trilliant ring is definitely implicated, and therefore the church may be as well.
An interesting theory. You're thinking the Trilliant may either be working alone by themselves or in connection with the High Church to destabilize this area more than it already is, in order to, with an end goal of seizing the control of the planet as a whole?
I believe so. I can't be sure. They asked me, their head of human resources, to let him know or leak him information when we made a move on this planet. He said that they had some undercover operatives here. I ask you, Officer Greaves, if you have agents undercover in a resistance to give you information, why wouldn't you shut it down yourself?
Say that again.
If you had, double agents embedded in a terrorist organization that is threatening your investments, why wouldn't you shut them down yourself? You have everything you need to move against them. Why wait for the crux to come along? That means they know that these terrorists are acting, and they're doing nothing to stop them. More so than that, they haven't handed over that information to the authorities when they arrived on this planet. They're merely trying to protect their own investments at this point. They just want me to make sure that none of their agents get caught or killed.
I think you're misunderstanding the way these large corps work. They don't want help from Crux. They don't want help from any outside. They want it for themselves. Now, how long were you? Well, I know how long you were away, but what was the process like when you checked into there? Where were you exactly?
I'll be honest with you.
Security
I had no
Booker is
idea.
acting up.
Yeah. They took me there
Did
in
they
this
frisk you at all?
ridiculous.
Touch your
No.
person?
They let me in with my sword on my person.
You'll forgive me for being a little cautious here. And just hold still for a second. And Booker's gonna pull out a little device that will scan for any sort of because he knows the Trilliant are techie as hell. So he's just they're sneaky little bastards. So
Yeah,
they're interested in information.
Make a notice in wisdom or notice intelligence roll. I think they're both. I think intelligence probably in this case.
I'm probably bugged to all hell and back.
Even if they didn't touch it, who knows?
Yeah. So Booker, you do a scan, and yes, you find a on the Amira's sleeve, caught in the fabric. There's just a little rice grain size black metal object.
Can you extend your arm for a moment there, Amira?
I do so.
Yep, he grabs it.
Okay. Yeah, snap it. Okay, yeah, there's a little spark, and you break the thing.
Now this conversation is private. Trilliant bastards.
I'm not too worried. The man merely asked me. The man actually told me that I would have to choose an allegiance. I don't think he knew that I had already chosen one.
Well, I've dealt with them in the past. They're slippery, techie bastards. Always looking for information that benefits them and their corp.
My apologies, Greaves. I didn't even think to check.
Well, now you know. And now you know why it's helpful to have me along.
I never doubted your helpfulness, sir.
I won't.
Do you think we should loop in Valencia on this? Or not? We do not yet know the extent to which the church may be involved in any of these dealings. It might be wise to not loop him in until we know exactly where his allegiance lies.
I don't know if we're the ones to make that call. I definitely know you're going to need to report this to Nomi. If you don't, I will, including the bug.
Right.
I doubt she'll be too hard on you, but I can't tell. Not sure what your two's relationship like, but one thing I can say that Nomi is professional. If you'd rather me make the report, I'll make it as delicate as I can.
I'll leave that to you. I'm not too concerned about my relationship with Nomika. I don't think I acted out of order. I merely obtained some information and returned. If anything, this should prove to you that I'm not withholding anything from you all.
If you think it's not that big of a deal, perhaps rethink it.
I shall do so.
I'm not concerned about your personal relationship. I'm talking about your professional relationship. I know a great deal more about Nomi than you might think. Be careful is all I'm saying. Anyways,
Thank you for the warning.
I'll go
You have
ahead
an
and
early
report
day
this.
tomorrow.
I think you also should submit your own personal report to her, but I have a duty, especially as one that has matters of security for this operation and the team that operate in it, to report it as well to her. You personally reporting will show that you take some responsibility for your actions and any errors that may happen as a result. And he holds up the bug. We'll leave it up to her to loop in Chaplain Valencio or not. It's not really our call. Thanks for sharing.
Understood. I wish I had shared it privately. I'm just going to smile and return to my room.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So Nomi, you head back to the embassy after, like, it's quite late now. It's like 10 or 11. I think by the time everybody is kind of caught up. Yeah. So do you go back to the embassy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything that anybody wants to do before sleep?
I think the chaplain's just out on the balcony looking up at the stupid golden cathedral and is thinking about a lot of things. It's like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Looking thoughtfully out the window.
Yeah, it probably has like a whiskey in there. It's just like, the fuck am I gonna do?
Okay. All right. So Nomi, you would see that when you return. And if you want to have a conversation with the chaplain, you can, or
Sure.
this can be a like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, and then you leave.
No, I'd go out and talk to him.
Sileska, welcome back. How was your meeting with the Reverend Elder? Did you manage to speak with her?
I did. It was interesting. She plays her cards very close to her chest.
Indeed. I imagine that a person in her position has many delicate matters to deal with, but I'm interested to hear what your read of the situation was. Do you believe that she is against us, or...
I think that we've given her no reason to trust us or to see that we are working on the behalf of the people of Berkman. She simply sees us as an appendage of the Empire coming down to exact justice in whichever way we see fit. I tried to convince her otherwise, telling her that we were also hoping to end this reign of terror so that the people of Berkman could get on with their lives, but she didn't seem to know too much. She did, in a way, vouch for the pastor Talat Lao. She recommended that I go speak with him personally, and I'm not sure, Chaplain. She seems... I think she could still be involved. She doesn't have a particular fondness for the trilliant ring and for this, and I kind of like motion at the gold orb. This monolith to the hedonism of trilliant ring. That this money could have benefited the people like Tomomi Emerson and other farmers whose land was essentially taken from them and used to create this thing.
I'm afraid in that regard, I must share some of the same opinions as our Reverend Elder. She seems a very strong and very intelligent woman. I will be very saddened to hear if she is working with these traitors and terrorists. I admire her in a way to deal with such matters. On a harsh planet such as this, to keep people working together must be a very difficult task. I am not very good at these political matters. I've always been a little troubled by such things. But we have our duty to perform. We must do what is best for the Empire. I believe that Agent Greaves and I were speaking about a similar thing of going to speak with this Lao. I was going to try and approach him as a man of faith to a man of faith. Keep Agent Graves and yourself close by in case anything happened, but perhaps you and I can go together. If he is just a recruiter, I don't think we have to worry about any violent behavior, but perhaps he may slip up, or we may get a better judge of his character. I don't know. I do not know. I pray for the answers.
Were you and Officer Greaves able to observe him at all while I was gone?
No, we were making plans to go, but considering the late hour, we thought that it would probably be better served tomorrow when there's daylight. The commune is a religious community after all. I imagine that most of the people there would have retreated to bed or some such. Also, the Emira arrived shortly after you left, so Agent Graves and her, I believe, must be having a conversation somewhere. I've been contemplating things whilst they have been gone.
The Emira returned. Did she say where she was?
She was cagey about it. Simply said that she had concluded her business and that it went well. She took AnneMunition with her as protection. I feel that the Emira does not... Well, she does not seem to have fit in quite yet, and like so many people, I imagine that she does not trust others. I find that is often a case when people start to realize a little bit about my past. They struggle to believe that I'm here to help, that I'm just another gun in the shadows waiting to finish them off. This has always been a tricky part of my life, but still, I believe that you could go and speak with her. I'm sure that she perhaps would be more open to speaking with you or Agent Greaves, if she has not done so already.
When you finish that, there's a on Nomi's comm. It's a report from Booker of where she's been, where the Emira's been, their discussion, all that, and just leaves it up, to your action, whatever. And also has a note saying the Emir expect a report from the Emira herself about goings on.
Okay. I kind of give it a scan, and I don't know. I think I just look over the report really quick, and then I just look at the chaplain and I say, well, tomorrow is another day. Perhaps we'll get more done once we've had some time to rest. I will see you in the morning,
Indeed.
Chaplain.
Yes, I believe the plan is to head to this commune. I will see you then, Cirrus. Thank you.
I bow and leave. Go to bed.
Okay. All right. So you all rest, and the next day, you're all awake and out in the kind of common area of the apartments. The place is, there's another, you've got another full day before the dinner, and the staff of the embassy are preparing the room. So they're bringing in extra furniture, and this is the first time everybody's kind of been together since the day before. So what is the plan for this day? Like, how are you going to go about your business here?
Well, I think we're gonna go to check out Pastor Lau in the morning.
Okay.
And then the dinner is tonight, tomorrow night. tonight?
It's tomorrow night. Yeah. So
Okay.
you have a little time.
Yeah, I think the first thing would be to figure out or go talk to Lau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I receive a report from the Amira overnight or anything this morning? Maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would have.
Okay, cool. Is there would there be any, I guess, discrepancies between the two reports, or did you report all the same stuff that he did?
No, I think I would have reported because I told Booker pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So everything that you told him, you would have also put in your report. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Including that I was bugged.
Yeah.
So that they know.
Right. Okay.
And also including that I didn't tell the chaplain because I don't know the extent of the church's involvement. I would have been in there as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, Mark. No offense. You're just,
It's
you know.
I know.
just
I know.
saying.
It's all right.
Mhm.
You're building
Chaplain.
up to these faction turns. I know what's
Sneaky,
going
sneaky
on.
Yeah.
churches. Sneaky
Sneaky
churches.
church, sneaky a mirror over here. Jeez, playing the long game.
So suffice to say, I guess that breakfast is a little tense then, or
Yeah. Chaplain isn't.
Booker feels great. All right.
He's normal.
Yeah.
Got some good sleep. Ready to go spy
Booker's
on
not
some
the
people.
target of people's ire for once ever. Okay. So you're are you all gonna go down to Parish Red Sands and see about talking to the pastor?
I'd like
Sure.
to.
Okay.
Sounds like it's everybody.
All right. Yeah.
Except for Arnahan. Unless
I mean,
nobody wants
yeah.
Arnahan to go.
Who do you bring with you? Is this we walk up to the gates and are like, "Hello, we're the police. We're the space police. Let's have a conversation." Or is it a little bit more subtle
Well,
than that?
I think in the morning, Booker would outlines the chaplain and Booker's plan. There's going to be the two of them. Chaplain was going to go, and speak to him on the level of just being a man of faith, and Booker was going to be nearby with continuous transmission to just hear, the conversation. And the Amira offered to come along, and Booker said that's all right as long as and then leaves it to her like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I just want to give you a chance to do if there are things you need to do before you go, but that's fine. Yeah. So should we just start then with the walk up? How disguised or how open do you want to be? Walk me through the morning, and then we'll jump into the outside of Red Sands Parish.
Booker had toast. He thought about getting a
okay.
Danish first, and then
Yeah. And you're like, I can't maintain my girlish figure if I eat all these space Danishes. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Space station.
Yeah, I like regular Danishes, but space. Yeah, I mean, you eat and you have a chance to talk, but if everybody is already on board, kind of with the plan, what do y'all like? What do we see when you go up? Like, is this?
I
Everybody
secretly
together,
plot
or-
to backstab the crew. Just kidding. No.
I mean, I assume you don't have to tell everybody about that.
I think
fine.
the chaplain has made no effort to conceal the fact that he's from the High Church. Like, he's just still in his suit. He just looks like he always does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Booker's in just normal clothes for people that would be local to Berkman. He just looks like another serf, another person.
Mhm.
Outside of
Okay.
looking badass, of course. You can't ever get that away from his face.
Can't help it.
That's built in. All right, so everybody's going in just dressed like you live and work on this
Civilians.
planet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a cover story in case people ask? Because
We're part of the Red Miners.
Right, exactly. The Red
The Red
Minerers. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
I think the chaplain's thing is to maybe go to when there's a sermon on, like he actually wants to kind of set it up like, I am here to listen. I want to hear what y'all have to say, y'all locals.
Okay. All right. Okay, but everybody else is dressed up, kind of like
We're
you're
part
from
of an
you're-
environmental survey crew that is here to determine the health of Berkman's crust and the rate at which moisture farming is depleting the water table. in the area.
There you go.
Look at this.
Perfect. Good.
Boom. What a cover.
Very
she said.
nice. Science
what she said.
stuff. That's good. I like it. Okay. So we find the group of you standing outside of the entrance to Parish Red Sands. So the parish, as with many of the neighborhoods in this area, there is a main entrance that leads into the warrens of caverns that make up the parish itself. This one, I guess if you're disguised, there's no one to like stop you. There are people outside talking, kind of enjoying the limited sunlight that gets down here. And as you walk up, we see there's like the big sign overhead that says like "Welcome to Parish Red Sands." It's glowing faintly. And I think that on the wall next to it, there's like graffiti. There's graffiti on a lot of the walls down here, but we specifically see spray painted in big like blue letters the word "repent," and it's been sprayed on the wall next to the sorry. So we see this outside. As you're about to enter, Chaplain, your comms, maybe as you notice that yours and only yours, your comm buzzes.
I'll just look over. Do I see like who's calling, or is it like a withheld number?
It's
I
not a
don't know
call,
how
it's a
comms
message.
works.
It's a message, and it's encrypted, and it's on like a high church frequency.
Okay, I will read it.
Okay. Yeah, you pop it open. It's not from a specific person. There's no like address or whatever. It is addressed from the Inquisition, from the offices of the Inquisition. And it says come to the cathedral immediately. And then it has a ticket, like essentially like a QR code or whatever, a transmit code for a shuttle flight that's leaving in like an hour.
Okay, I'll turn back. I won't do this over comms. I'll literally head over to the group, and literally, I'll just get the group's attention, make my way over to them, specifically to Nomi. Like I'll kind of like move over towards Nomi, and maybe on the way I'll just be like, Siriska, I'm afraid that I've just received an urgent message that I need to leave. I need to head up to the cathedral immediately. It sounds quite serious. I'm sorry to do this. I know that this is very unprofessional. But before I go, there is something you should be aware of. I'll gesture towards the graffiti and just be like, there may be other forces influencing the church here. Heretics. Dangerous ones.
I look at the graffiti and I look back at him and I say, you believe there are dangerous forces here at work and you're going to leave your crew in the middle of our mission.
I would not do this if it did not come from the highest echelons of my church. I have been requested to head up to the cathedral immediately. I will not hide this from you. I see no reason to. They are not dangerous in the sense of guns and knives, more of insidious types. People that
you may be a chaplain, but you are on a crux mission. You realize that.
I nod my head. I do. But at the end of the day, the greatest authority is beyond even crux. If God was requested, if the God has spoken via the exarchs, then I must answer it. I am sorry, Sirius. I do not mean this to be any form of disrespect. I do not mean this to be an element of distrust. This is something I must do. If the heads of House Serpens requested you to attend to something, I would believe that you would attend to it, would you not?
House Serpens would never ask me to leave my duties at a time of need.
I'm afraid that this has been called upon me, and I must answer. I do suggest that you should head inside, but perhaps these pastors are not as simple as we first thought. The Church of Humanity Repentant is something that needs to be dealt with in time.
go, and hope that we don't need you.
I also hope this. I will return as soon as I am able. I'm sorry. And then I'll just make
Blessings
my way
upon you, Chaplain.
on. And blessings to you, Agent Graves, and to you, Amira. I pray that you will all be safe.
Okay. You head for your date with the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So you head off. We stick with Nomi, Booker, and the
Never
Amira.
remember this.
As the three of you enter, you walk under the neon sign, the glowing sign that says commune or parish Red Sands. So in here, you see a community that it seems like fairly vibrant. All of the apartments and dwellings down here are occupied. You see laundry like strung across the open street, people talking, and they regard you with a smile. A couple of people like nod. They do not seem nervous or like they're fine like with strangers. They seem like welcoming. And I think that you don't get too far in before someone approaches you, and everybody's dressed like laborers and stuff down here. One of these plebs approaches you, a man in his mid-20s, and he comes up and he says, he's like, well, "Welcome to the parish. Were you looking for someone in particular, or?" And he like kind of smiles like, "Hey, I'm here to help you. What's going on?"
Yeah.
But also there's a slight layer of like, "Hey, I'm gonna come check it out, but I'm gonna be friendly. But what are you doing here?"
Just to say before the
Yeah.
continues, like Booker, when he walks in, he purposely does not stay with the group. He like pretends like he's
Okay.
like another person. He's like maybe sits down somewhere.
Oh, right.
just
Like,
starts-
so you walk in like you
starts
don't
chatting.
know these guys.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just starts
okay.
chatting.
Okay.
So who's
Right.
he
So
actually?
this guy comes up to Nomi and
Okay.
and the Amira then. Yeah.
Okay. I smile back at him, and I say, "Hi, we're new in town and just here for, I don't know, a few weeks, and we were wondering about this parish, and if you could tell us about it."
And he smiles and nods. He says, "Oh, new in town. Well, where are you from?"
Oh, I don't know any planet names.
We're from a planet somewhere just around here.
I'll say this. I'll be like, we're actually members of a research ship that travels from system to system, ascertaining the health of the water table post moisture farming in the upper crust. And our research has brought our humble little ship to Berkman.
Well, I don't know about all that, but if you came to Berkman looking for water, well, you best. It's not. Heck. You're gonna want to talk to somebody in charge. And he looks around and he says, maybe you want to talk to the pastor. And he's like, I could take you there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this guy leads Nomi and Kieran. So Booker, can you do two things for me? Can you
Sure.
make a sneak roll with your dexterity?
Neat roll.
Yeah.
All right.
And then that'll determine whether I need another roll from you.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Why am I sneaking?
All right. So you're
Just like them.
why am I sneaking?
Just like them.
So
Just like them.
that is probably my favorite like vocal break I've ever heard from. Why am I sneaking? Like what is happening? Okay, so
What's going on?
You go to follow them. You're like, okay, Nomi and the Amira are being led somewhere. I should follow. And you feel a hand on your shoulder.
All right.
Thump. You turn. And you see
Oh, hi there.
you see a group of three kind of tough-looking individuals. One of whom just put his hand on your shoulder, and he's like, "Well, hello there, stranger. Don't recognize you. What brings you to the parish?"
I've been working around here for a bit, and I'm trying to see what's going on in here all the time. People coming in and out, and I figured I'd check it out myself. I'm tired of working out in that damn sun.
Turns out Booker's like a decent actor. Let's have you make a roll. Let's do talk and charisma here, Booker. Let's see if you can convince these guys.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, so one of them
Oh boy.
holds up their
Oh,
like
boy.
wrist,
I'm
their
out.
wrist
I'm out.
comm. They press a button and you see a hologram, like an image pop up of yourself getting off of the Crux shuttle, and the other one shakes his head at you and he's like, "Don't you know lying's a sin? And
When he
unless
says
you
it,
want to
it's
like take a
"That's
swing
the
and run for it,
damnedest
or what do you
thing."
want to do?"
Yeah, as that pops up, he goes like, "That's the damnedest thing," and he goes like this. He points over to like another part. Well, I was just talking to that. Like he points to see if they're gonna look. Like I'm sure they're.
Yeah,
they're looking,
okay.
The old
They do that.
sucker punch.
Breaks
Talking
past
sand.
Look behind you.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't that funny? I was just over there. I was over there standing by that distraction over there. Look over at the distraction. There it is. Well, let's have you make a roll here. So you're like, that's funny. I was just over that way. And then you have to like shove one and run for it. Make a punch roll. Punch roll with strength.
I have a -1.
Yeah, you do.
Important church business.
Ha!
Okay.
There you
All right. Okay. So you can't. So I think you sock one of them in the face, or actually you get away, and then they're gonna give chase. You don't get away clean. So what do you? Is it just like you duck and run, or do you punch one? What is that? What does it look like?
Well, you're saying, am I cut off in front? I get out, right? You're saying they're just giving chase
So
behind?
yeah, they're gonna give chase, but like, is this like you point? You're like, well, I was just over there. One of them looks, and then do you push that one? Do you punch him? What does it
He's
look like? How
distracted, I punch the one that's not looking.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
So one's distracted, you sock the other one, and then
Yeah.
you run for it.
And then I run past the both of them, yeah.
Okay. And you hear shouting behind you as you take off. You have a slight lead, but there will be pursuit. So we see you run off into the crowd. We cut over to Nomi and the Amira. And the two of you are being led by this very earnest young pleb who is talking about the parish. He's like, well, this parish is one of the oldest ones in this part of the city. It's been around since forever, hundreds of years old. All kinds of people growing up and living here. And he's pointing stuff out. He's like, oh, that's old man Hitchin's place, and and just trying to play like the nice like tour guide as you arrive at the church. And again, like this is like it's like they're not caves because they're carved out, but there's some like bigger rooms, but it's excavated. You're all underground, so it's like being on the inside of an asteroid. There's internal air kind of blowing, and they try to make it seem like an open space, but there's still a limited amount of it. And so they lead you through, and you come to a church, and it has like First Church of Berkman Reformed written on a sign above it, and the doors are open and people are kind of like coming inside, and the guy says to you, he's like, oh, we're just in time. Well, come on in, you got to hear the pastor speak, and afterwards I'll make sure to introduce you.
Thank you. I just follow him.
Okay, so the two of you go into the church, and we stay outside as you're let in, and we see some of the people outside close the door. So we see them shut the door, and the scene fades, and we fade back in on the port. So Chaplain, you've had to go to this. There's a private like an airfield, essentially like a little port. And you see the shuttle. You've been directed. Maybe we cut in on like an assistant like pointing at the shuttle and being like, oh, that's your shuttle over there, Chaplain. And yeah, and we see you heading towards it.
Yep. Get in. Moving swiftly. Just got something to do. I need to get back ASAP, but I've got to deal with this first.
Okay. All right. So we follow you. You duck your head. It's got like a gull wing door that opens, and you get in. You duck your head, and it closes. And the driver turns around and looks at you, and she says, "Chaplain Valencio,
see,
if you could just scan your ticket on the and there's a little panel, a little scanner.
Turn it over. Scan it."
Okay, so it scans on her console. We see the ID pop up. Like it confirms. It shows your face, and she nods. And we see her put the key into the ignition, and she turns around and she looks at you, and she just says, "For Berkman," and she turns it, and the shuttle explodes. So we see the shot of the shuttle, and it just blows up. There's fire, chunks of shuttle fly everywhere. And we cut to black. That's it.
Fuck's sake, Adam. I already had to leave them all. And you had to blow me up.
That's what you get for leaving us.
Shuttle bursts into flames. Pieces of debris fly everywhere. Big dramatic sting, and then silence as the credits just come up on the screen.
I'm almost more
just
had to not follow command.
Never split the party.
And that's it.
Here I was thinking that Trilliant was working with the Church of the High Messiah, and now I'm realizing they're working with the Church of Humanity Repentant, and this changes everything.
Who even knows what's going on? Everybody's working with everybody. It's dangerous business. Yeah, actually, it was Nomi. Anne messaged me. Anne messaged me on the break and was like, "I need to kill Mark. Here's how we're gonna do it."
Set up a bomb.
Yeah, we're gonna set up a bomb, and we're gonna blame it on the terrorists.
Church, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we can talk about me exploding Mark in the post show. So thanks for coming, everybody. That's our episode. Let's do some shout outs. Let's start with the various scattered pieces of Chaplain Valencio. Mark, why don't you do a shout out?
Thanks.
Do a shout out for us.
Hey, don't worry, I've got another character always planned. That's the nice thing. Always got one as a backup. I'm Mark Humes, also known as Short Humes. My main thing that I do is I do a D&D show called High Rollers, which is every Sunday on twitch.tv/Yogscast or twitch.tv/HighRollersDND. If you go on my Twitter, I always link to it when we're going live and stuff like that. That's my main thing that I do. I occasionally do some YouTube and Twitch stuff as well. I've been doing a lot of D&D homebrew stuff. Great episode. I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks, so I am going to be really excited to see what's been going on while I've been away, because I'm probably not going to get to watch it while I'm out in Japan. So yeah, really excited to see what happens. Thank you so much to Adam and to all the other cast for such a great show. I love Verona. It is the best.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll have an absence of Mark for a time. We'll let you know kind of what that's going to look like as soon as we can. In the meantime, let's keep those shout outs going. Bronze, please, if you will.
I was muted. Hi, hello. I'm ThatBronzegirl. You can find me on the internet in many places. I'm a full-time variety caster. You can find me on twitch.tv/ThatBronzegirl or on Twitter at the same thing. I promise I'm not sneaky, and I'm going to miss you while you're gone, Mark.
So nice. The players like each other regardless of what the characters may think or do.
Exactly. I'll always like Mark.
Yeah. Just won't ever trust whoever I play.
All right, Max, do the thing. Do it. It's your turn.
What's up, guys? I am GassyMexican, or Max, and I love doing this show with you guys. It's really, really fun. Thanks, as always, to Adam and the rest of the cast. It's super fun for me, especially having a little contrast to D&D with Court of Swords, but I love doing both shows. They're both very, very fun. Today's episode was really cool. I was a little bummed that I didn't get to do Lab Booker as a worker. I was excited for that, but it's all right. The roles dictate otherwise sometimes. If you guys enjoy the show, keep watching. If you want to check me out, I'll be streaming right after this. I'm going to try that Visage game, which is like an early access spooky game that people have been digging. I'll be doing that right after this. Other than that, follow me on all the stuff I do. YouTube, Twitter's the same. Everything's GassyMexican. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. Cool. Last but not least, voted most likely to toss you out an airlock. It's AnneMunition.
Thank you guys for watching. I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. It was interesting for a lot of different reasons, which we'll talk about in the post show. And you can find me all over the internet as AnneMunition on Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff. I am going to play some more Assassin's Creed Odyssey tonight in probably about an hour and a half. So you guys can come check that out with me. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for the show, guys. Had a good time.
Excellent. Cool. Thanks a lot. Cool. Thanks for coming, everybody. I have posted a Q&A on community.itmeJP.com for this episode. So if you have questions, you want to know kind of what we were thinking or what we were doing, go and ask your questions there. You can find me and my stuff on Twitter at skinnyghost or twitch.tv/AdamKoble. This morning, I posted a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel, which is YouTube Adam Koble. I don't use it that much, but I posted some videos of me and Blue Jay and Trista playing a game called Inhuman Conditions, which is a game about finding out if your friends are secretly synthetic organisms infiltrating human society. Sounds familiar. And there's a little bit of impromptu Verona LARPing that happened during that. So if you're interested, go check out my YouTube. Those videos popped up this morning. It's a super fun and cool game. So go check that out. And stick around if you're a patron. Keep an eye on the Patreon thing because we're going to be doing the post-show video. And you can play along. All the people who are not part of the Patreon who are watching chat today and being like, faction turn stuff, faction drama. If you want to know what all that's about, a $1 Patreon will get you access to the whole dramatic action. So check that out as well. That's it for us. We'll see you on the forums. We'll see you next time. See you on Court of Swords. Bye, everybody.